Hey everyone, welcome to Color Commentary. Today we're doing something a little different. We're playing some standard Pauper. There is an event currently on Arena that lets you play that for free, actually. And today we are going to be playing my blue-black control deck. So let's change the view real fast. We can get a look at the deck layout. Doesn't look like I can actually scroll this up or anything. But it's a blue-black control deck. Eric Klug posted a version of it. I made it with the cards I had. We've got Opt, good card. Deadweight, good card. Fungal Infection, Blink of an Eye. So basically just a ton of removal, a ton of card draw, and then eventually we're hoping to win the game with Watcher in the Mist. And we can have some value in Salvager of Secrets and Macabre Waltz to get back any creatures our opponents kill. We also got 4 Divinations. Unfortunately, I don't have matching arts on all of them. So the deck's really sweet. The format's a lot of fun. I personally think that this is the best deck in the format. There is also a white weenie deck, which I'm hoping to run into a lot. I think it's also a fairly strong deck, but I think our matchup against it is extremely good. I currently have a pretty good win ratio with this deck. I've managed to cruise through the league undefeated several times, so I'm hoping, or league event, so I'm hoping that will happen while I record, of course. This hand's very keepable. We have a turn 1 blue source. We have Divination. We have some early interaction. Worst case, okay, it looks like we're playing against a white deck of some sort. No play on turn 1's perfect. We can just go ahead and play our Dimir Guildgate and pass the turn. Hopefully they'll play like a like a 2/2 or something. So the white deck's actually very, very common. So but we have a very good matchup against it. So this turn, I think I'm going to play a Swamp over the island because I have this Deadly Visit. So let's go ahead and deadweight this creature. And a lot of these games play sort of the same way, where you're hoping to just 1-for-1 until you start 2ing for 1, and then eventually you'll turn the corner with Watcher in the Mist. And our opponent missing a land drop there is actually very good for us. So let's go ahead and cast our Divination, and then we'll be able to play another land and hold up both Essence Scatter and Blink of an Eye, and then we also have both copies of our Deadly Visit now. So yeah, we're actually pretty firmly in the driver's seat at this point, in my opinion. We'll just wait for our opponent to do something. All right, so I think I do want to Deadly Visit that. It's a little bit more efficient on my mana, and it lets me go ahead and clear the top of my library if I don't like the cards. Drawing another Divination is great. Typically what I like to do is go ahead and do any business with Surveil first. And Surveil's a very strong mechanic in this format. So Deadweight and Artful Takedown, I actually do want both of these. These both line up very well against what my opponent's doing. So we'll go ahead and top both. And then we'll ship the turn on back. So the deck is kind of a slog. I anticipate this will take a while, but I think we have all the tools we need to win. And I might save that Divination. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So since I don't know the card underneath, I'm going to go ahead and save Divination and hope I can Essence Scatter my opponent's next play, or at the very least, remove it somehow. I would like it to be something I want to Essence Scatter just because... Yeah, I think I am going to go ahead and let that resolve. I would like to find some more lands at this point. But of course, the removal is extremely good, which is why I wanted to top both of it. But I'm very interested in lands now so that I can start building up to maybe casting more than one spell in a turn. Well, both of these cards are also very good. I'll go ahead and take the Opt just because I can draw. I can scry with it. I don't really need Fungal Infection with my copy of Deadweight and my copy of Mephitic Vapors. Our opponent has Parhelion Patrols for days. Fortunately, we have an Artful Takedown. So looking for a land here. Perfect. Not an island like I would like, but still fine. So yeah, let's go ahead and draw that. And our plan will be to Artful Takedown this Parhelion Patrol, hopefully in response to something my opponent does. That might they could do something that might get me here. That's not it. Let's go ahead and take down. No real reason to wait. I would rather do it now so that they can't leave up a mana for anything. And then we have the Deadweight for the Aven Sentry. All right, and there's our island. So this turn I'm planning to Deadweight, Divination, leave up Essence Scatter. And doing the Divination first in case I draw another Dimir Guildgate. We did not. So now we just sort of sit back and wait for our opponent to run out of stuff. So that's actually, I might just go ahead and Essence Scatter that because my opponent does have better creatures, certainly, but I want to use my mana. And I don't have a lot of ways to deal with 3 toughness creatures now that I've already been both of my deadly visits. All right, and there we go. Here we're going to start turning the corner with our Watcher in the Mist. One of the things this deck has in the way of removal is Luminous Bonds. They also have like destroy target tap creature, but of course they have to tap me first to do that. And Blink of an Eye lines it very, very well against Luminous Bonds as it draws me a card and then I get to do this Surveil goodness again. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this land. I don't really need it. We'll draw the Divination. I'll go ahead and play out this land so I can leave a Blink of an Eye. And 9 mana, 10 mana is where I start to get really comfortable. And after that, I like to start holding lands for my Macabre Waltzes just so I have something to discard when I am ready to do so. So we got a lot of protection here. Yep, there's Luminous Bonds. So we're going to go ahead and Blink of an Eye our Watcher at the end of the turn. Draw us a card, and then do the Surveil thing all over again. We're going to even be drawing a Divination, which I may go ahead and cast. So yeah, pretty sweet plays here. This is why I think blue-black is strong. Blue's just super powerful, of course. So yep, let's go ahead and draw our Divination, return Watcher to our hand, pass the turn. We even draw a Dead Weight, great draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead. Oh, 5. Yep, let's go ahead and play that out. And then I think we might as well. It depends what's on top. I like to Surveil and then Divination. So if I like the cards on top, I'm not just going to draw them. I'd rather just draw 2 fresh cards. So yeah, we're going to hold off. I'm good drawing another Watcher in the Mist. I'm good drawing an Opt. And then we have the same play if my opponent Luminous Bonds again. Kind of wish I had another land at this point because I would love to go double Watcher, but I'm okay not being able to. So that's kind of one of the tricky things with the deck. Like, you know, you start to get up here in the upper echelons of mana. Okay, so that card is not hard for me to deal with. It does make me wish I had the Essence Scatter still, but I mean, my opponent would have been getting with that Pegasus this whole time, so I am kind of glad I didn't do it. Okay, so I think we're good to go ahead and attack here because if my opponent pumps, I can respond, or if they try and destroy it with that destroy target tap creature spell, I have an out to that as well. So if they just take this damage, though, I'm pretty happy about that. If we just eat this angel here. So yeah, there's the Take Heart. So what I can do is I can actually Moment of Craving and basically 1-for-1 this Take Heart and get rid of their blocker, which I think is what I'm going to do. So no reason to wait. Let's go ahead and just do it now. It'll get +2/+2. We'll bump. And then I'll go ahead and play another Watcher. And again, kind of wishing I had that last land. I could go ahead and Divination if I did. Okay, well, that's Dimir Guildgate, so we'll stack it like that. So we go ahead and get the Guildgate. I really would like 10 lands. All right, Rustwing Falcon, not super great. They also sometimes play Nightly Pledge, which is an enchantment that gives +2/+2, and Blink of an Eye is also incredible against that. So let's go ahead and draw. Let's play Dimir Guildgate. Let's go to attacks. I sort of glazed over it in my quasi deck tech. It's kind of hard to do deck techs on Arena from what I was looking at. So I do have a Devious Cover Up, which helps me prevent from decking. I've never decked with this deck, so that's kind of interesting. And we'll just go ahead and pass turn. I don't want to draw a card when I already know what the card is, even if it's an Opt. All right, there's the Angel of the Dawn again. So our opponent is going to get in for 2 here with this Rustwing Falcon, but that's really not a big deal. Because what I can do is I can go ahead and deadweight it, and that will prevent them from being, it'll kill it, and then they can't double block me anymore. But let's go ahead and start with this Opt. I do not need another land at this point. All right, that's pretty good too. I think it's better to go ahead and just use the dead weight. rather than my instant speed. And if they go to the pump it, that's gravy for me too, because that's a 2-for-1. So yeah, this doesn't work in the long run. Like, sure, it gets Mighty Let for now. This prevents me from attacking this turn, but the Rustwing Falcon still dies. So I've seen my opponents do that quite a bit, and I just don't think it's a very good play. So at this point, I could go ahead and play my land, or I could save it from a Cob Waltz. I'm inclined to save it from a Cob Waltz, and then we just won't attack. I got all the time in the world to beat my opponent. So I have 27 cards in my library. All right, Courser is good. Now my Moment of Craving will be a little bit better. So let's pass on back to us. We even draw another Deadweight. So I could Deadweight the Courser, but I think I want to try and 2-for-1 my opponent here. Or basically get them with the Craving over the Deadweight. I don't want to show them that. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain my thought process here. But basically, I guess it is a 2-for-1. Yeah, because if I... no, it's not, right? Because even if I... Yeah, it's 4 toughness, even if they double block. So, never mind. So now what I will do is I will Craving... Let's Craving... this one. I guess it doesn't really matter. If they pump it, I have another Craving. Or I could even bounce. I got a lot of options here. Yep, there's Mighty Leap. So it'll get +2/+2. Then I'll get -2/-2. And then if I do want to save, I want to save it, which I do. Just go ahead and do it again. And then I can go ahead and use a Deadweight to finish off my opponent's last creature. I could even use the Vapors. I might actually use the Vapors, because it's been sort of rotting in my hand this whole game. And now that my opponent no longer has a critical mass of creatures, it'll be a little bit better. All right, so that's great. We'll go ahead and get that negate next turn to help prevent my opponent from doing anything super crazy, like destroying my creatures. And I did have to leave down the... Okay, and they go ahead and concede. So, yep, that is 1-0 here. Let's go ahead and get into our next game. I will claim that prize. So, yeah, this event's been pretty fun. I even wrote an article for Hipsters about it. Not sure when that's going to get published, but having a great time with this deck. My opponent goes first. This hand has double Amphitic Vapors. Could be really good if they're on an aggro deck, but this hand is actually not very strong in the mirror. Because so many decks are aggro decks, I am going to go ahead and keep. Most also because of the strength of the Divination. Divination is just such a good card, and of course, I think I'm rewarded here. So let's go ahead and lead on black. So if I can Craving my opponent's first play, then Divination or Vapors their second one, that would be awesome. Yeah, mono white again. Great. In the meantime, we do have some land drops to make, so that is good. Oh, Boros. Okay. All right, so I can answer that pretty cleanly with my Vapors. Sadly, nothing else, but yeah, let's go ahead and throw down this island. Doing that this time because I have more double blue than double black in my deck. Still looking for lands here. But both of these cards are powerful. So I am inclined to go ahead and draw the Essence Scatter to help prevent my opponent from getting like a good 2-for-1 creature, like another Instigator, into play, and then going ahead and just drawing the other card. And I do already have a Moment of Craving in my hand. So that's why I'm more inclined to draw the Essence Scatter. So what is my... Yeah, that would have been a good one for me to Essence Scatter because they do get the token here. Not the end of the world, of course. Just mildly annoying. What I would like them to do now is play a 2-drop. And I might even go ahead a Moment of Craving to help prevent them from buffing this in response. Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry, I want them to play another 1 toughness creature so my Vapors is good. I don't just want a 1-for-1 a token. You know, it's like basically a 2-for-1 on myself. That's not what I'm about. Although you can definitely do that. My opponent's definitely gonna run out of cards before I am because I have the divination waiting in the back. Oh, barging sergeant. So this is an interesting position. I could scatter the barging sergeant, or I could just let it resolve and get it with the moment of craving. I don't think my opponent does have. Well, my opponent's gonna get to mentor here, so actually, yeah, I am gonna go ahead and essence scatter. The consideration there is my opponent's probably playing Wojek Bodyguard, which is a 3/3, but I can definitely stall out and buy time to get rid of that. So in this particular instance, drawing the moment of craving would have actually been better. But I was in my head playing a little bit around Wojek Bodyguard. So here I think I want to leave my blue untapped in case I draw opt. But no, I draw 2 lands, so it does not matter. We'll play the swamp so we can leave up moment of craving, and we'll pass the turn. And then worst case scenario, blink of an eye is actually pretty good against the token because I get to draw a card, so I'm not really down any cards in the exchange. Opponent has a guild gate. My opponent already probably has some like hammer dropper, which I don't think they can cast, or maybe it is a 5 mana card. But moment of craving lines up super duper well against hammer dropper. So there's Parhelion Patrol, which does make me wish I'd save that Essence Scatter, but I think all in all, it was worth it. What I can do next turn is I can Moment of Craving and Vapors. So I'm just breaking all my rules for... okay, that's pretty good too. So this is really good against like a 2 toughness creature. This would have also been really good against the Sergeant, because I could have -1'd it and then blocked. So what to do here? I do kind of... So the thing about Vapors, it's not card advantage, but it does help me filter the top of my library. So I am kind of interested in just doing that play. And then that way that my opponent has no creatures left. I'm just breaking all my rules here. I'm actually going to play this island out first so I can leave up black for my fungal infection. So, unfortunately, my computer shut down during the middle of that recording. I am kind of running a jalopy. The cool thing is I was able to save the recording, as you just saw. Did not get deleted. And Magic Arena even saved my place. So we actually beat that Boros deck in a very similar fashion as we beat the mono white deck. So now let's go ahead and get into our next game here. And again, I apologize for that. Is this thing on? Yep, there we go. So currently 2-0. Again, very much apologize for that. The game played like you thought it would. I drew more removal and counter spells, and they had creatures, and I won the game. I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna go ahead and pause during this next one. This hand's good just because I have 2 divinations, and if I ever get black mana, it unlocks these other cards. So pretty interested. Opponent took a mull. Let's go ahead and keep. But you see what I'm saying, where the format is largely aggro type decks, and here we are playing against another red deck. So it very much favors cards like Moment of Craving, especially, but also Dead Weight. So really hoping to find a swamp here. That would be really sick if I drew a swamp, was able to Moment of Craving whatever my opponent's going to play here, maybe a Viashino Pyromancer, and then turn 3 just untap and slam Divination. Yep, nailed it. Moment of Craving very good against the mono red deck. Drew another island instead, so we are going to take a not insubstantial amount of damage from this Pyromancer. Let's say I don't draw another swamp. I don't draw a swamp next turn. I'm going to end up taking about 6 damage off this Pyromancer, which is regainable thanks to the cravings, but not exactly where I want to be on the defensive here. Swaggering Corsair. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one. All right, so did not draw the black source. Unfortunate. So now we're in a bit... Ooh, we're in trouble. I'm going to discard the Salvager. I really hope the next card is a swamp. If it is, I can deadweight the Pyromancer, or I can deadweight the Corsair even. Divination. I really need a black source. I really hope that not drawing a black source isn't the reason we lose this game, because I haven't lost really any games to mana screw. So I would hate for my first... Yeah, this is starting to get pretty ugly. All right, sweet. We drove a swamp. So now what I want to do is I want to play the swamp. Definitely want to play the swamp. I'm thinking, do I want a divination first? Because what if I played the swamp, I deadweight the Corsair, and then I get Mephitic Vapors. So I think before anything, I want to cast this divination, try and draw into Vapors, or at least another swamp. Another swamp would be great because it would set me up for next turn. No such luck. I still think the play is going to be to deadweight the Corsair. Still blunts the Assault by 2 points of damage. And then if I draw Vapors, I'm actually like in really good shape. And if nothing else, I have triple Moment of I can leave up Moment of Craving and Essence Scatter next turn. So not in horrible shape, not in great shape, but not in horrible shape is how I would describe myself right now. So really hoping to draw Vapors. Taking their time. And so like I mentioned, or you probably haven't read my article, the most interesting thing this deck can do is Act of Treason. Swaggering Corsair is definitely a new one on me. I used to play this back when Arena was in closed beta because like Pirates was basically all you could, the only mono red deck. That's what I like. All right, so really hoping, if they have like triple shock here. Okay, awesome. And we even draw an extra swamp. So now we're in really good shape because now I can deadweight something next turn, but more importantly, I can craving, and then go from there. No need to do it main phase. Yeah, these cravings are gonna get me back in this game. And then I can divination a gas back up again, or I can deadweight. So really, I got my pick here. So feeling pretty good. It was touch and go there for a while because I couldn't draw my black sources. Didn't draw my black sources for so long. So definitely going to craving the Pyromancer. And then the question is, do I want to craving something else? Or do I want to hold out for Vapors? So let's see. I'm taking 3 here. I think it's worth it to probably just go ahead and craving again. Put myself well out of range of shock. No real 3-point burn spells in the format, but I don't want to lose to something like super random. And I'm okay getting rid of my hand if it means I can deal with all my opponent's creatures here. All right, so now I think I want to start on the divination, and I am going to go ahead and tap out on blue because I have this extra island here. And then I can deadweight. Well, that'll be good later. So now I can either deadweight or I can leave up Essence Scatter, Moment of Craving. And I think that's what I'm going to lean towards just because I want to gain the life. And I think I'm even going to Moment of Craving the Swaggering Corsair if my opponent lets me do that. And then I can untap, play Watcher in the Mist, and be in pretty good shape. This deck does play Sheevan Fire, but I'm not really worried about that. So I could take 2 here. But I think it's wise to just go ahead and Moment of Craving. And this way I leave myself available to bounce this back to my opponent's hand. So card advantage a little bit less important in this game. I'm just worried about stabilizing and surviving. Went through all 3 of my Moment of Cravings. I've used, is that 3 divinations? Yeah, 3 divinations. So now what I want to do is island 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play this and keep up Essence Scatter. Because I think now I'm pretty firmly in the driver's seat. If my opponent Sheevan Fires on my instep, that's fine. I can afford to take 1 more here. I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of both of these islands. What I really like to do, I really wish I didn't have to discard my Salvager. It would be very useful here. But that's just the way it goes, unfortunately. You know, I could go ahead and, like, I have 2 other pieces of removal. It probably is better to just go ahead. No. Yeah, it's probably better to just play around Sheevan Fire. Go ahead and just get rid of this. have my opponent have nothing, and then if they play a creature, I can just remove it and leave up Essence Scatter next turn. Again, not as efficient with my cards as I would really like to be. Never drew the Vapors, unfortunately, but the Moment of Cravings thankfully kept us in the game. Yep, there's the Sheevan Fire, so I am glad I got rid of that creature. Opponent must be double Sheevan Firing me here, which makes me feel a little bit better about spending so many cards. The Waltz will help me get that back later, so I'm not really concerned about losing a creature at this stage in the game. And now the Waltz is actually very good because I can get back both my Salvager for... I can back Salvager and my Watcher in the Mists. All right, my opponent has nothing. I draw my last Moment of Craving. Now I don't think I can lose. My opponent would have to do... A lot would have to go right for my opponent here for them to pull out of this now. And they're stuck on 3 mana. Okay, Direct Current's definitely good. I do have one of Negate in my deck. I mean, I guess if they go like Direct Current, Bolt, Shock or something, like then I'm in trouble. And I'm at 1. So using that Moment of Craving and getting rid of that creature were actually very relevant. All right, now I need to stop drawing removal. I need to draw my Negate or my... Devious Cover-Up. Or Guildgate, sure. Whew. My opponent didn't use the Direct Current, though. I wonder why. I really like my opponent to play a 2 toughness creature. That would just make my day. Nope. All right, Watcher's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leave up a good selection of mana here. My opponent goes another double of these. Okay, Mephitic Vapors is a little late to the party. I don't really need that card anymore. It would have been sweet earlier on, but don't really need it now. So happy to bin it. I guess they could go Active Treason here, and that would be kind of brutal. But I do have I could Moment of Craving my own creature. But with 5 mana, I'm hoping they just cast a Kick Sheevan Fire. No, there's Active Treason. Can I really afford to take 3 here? I kind of don't think so. I kind of think I am going to have to. So I could Moment of Craving and Fungal Infection, take no damage, and then have this thing, and then still have plenty of removal and interaction. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So non-conventional play, but really just don't want to take damage off my own creature. I think every life point is going to be relevant. I could even just take 1 here, honestly. Is my opponent thinking about killing it in response, like doing another 2 damage? I think it's worth it to go ahead and do this. I talked myself into it. I mean, if they want to spend another spell on it, sure. Like I said, I have the Macabre Waltz in my deck and the Devious Cover-Up. So it's not like losing creatures is actually that bad for me. And then I have plenty of removal. They won't cast another creature spell this turn. I have 2 Essence Scatters. Yeah, okay. So take no damage. So effectively 3 for 1 myself to counter this Act of Treason. But oh well. I do get some life, and I do get this little guy. So not actually terrible. And then this deck... Okay, well now I'm really glad I did that, actually. It's gonna be close. I think every life point is really gonna matter here because they have another one of these in the yard. I'm effectively at 4, and if they have 2 shocks, I'm just dead. I could have deadly visited my own Spore here, Saproling here, but yeah, I think this was actually very relevant. If my opponent does it again, Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. Because active treasoning this is much weaker. I was going to say, if my opponent active treason again, I have the Artful Takedown. Okay, negate is awesome. I'm very happy to have drawn negate. Wish I'd had it that turn with the active treason, but I will take it here. So now I have all 3 Essence Scatters in my hand. A little unfortunate. My opponent doesn't seem very interested in playing out any more creatures. Draw another Fungal Infection. Again, not the most useful. So this game's actually been pretty touch and go. I thought it was locked up a while ago, but it doesn't appear to be. Again, choosing not to discard any of the cards in their hand, and they have 6. All right, they can absolutely draw a card. So what if they just have like all lands or something? Are they trying to build up to a critical mass of spells to kill me? The last creature in my deck is another Watcher in the Mists. Got 28 cards left. I have 3 Guild Gates left still, so I do have a pretty real possibility of drawing blanks. And I think I'm okay to go ahead and play out my lands because I don't want to. I would have to discard otherwise, and I can always discard one of these 3 Essence Scatters to my Macabre Waltz. I really want to waltz. So I can waltz, get back, Watcher, Salvager for waltz, get back the other Watcher. All right, if my opponent's doing this, I'm not super scared. Like that's actually really good for me. Because it means they're not playing cards that will kill me, and also that's a combat trick. So it's pretty interesting because my opponent's playing the land and playing this when they could really just deal 2 more damage to me. Is it possible my opponent is not playing Shock somehow? I just find that so unbelievable. All right, Vapors is pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and discard it, I think. It's tempting to Vapors just because I get to look at 2 more cards, but like I don't want to lose my Saproling, so is that worth it? Or is the Deadly Visit more worth it? No, because they might play like Logic Bodyguard or something. I'm going to get rid of the Vapors. It's cool. Anything that my opponent can do, realistically, I can Essence Scatter. Then I have the negate for when the burn gets to be too hot. Then I have to take down the Deadly Visit. Yeah, I just don't need Mephitic Vapors with this much removal in my hand, this much other interaction. All right, so my opponent does need more. So this is actually fine because I can Fungal Infection that. My opponent does not have enough mana to do this and cannot have enough mana to do this. Fire Shrine Keeper is also really weird. I've not seen that yet out of the mono red deck. But perfectly happy to Fungal Infection this. This doubles my clock. Now I'm going to win 6 turns instead of 12. Could be relevant. All right, let's do it. Yeah, I think I keep out and playing out mana. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 mana, like I said earlier, is kind of where I want to be. If my opponent tries to kill these Saprolings, that's totally okay. I definitely don't want to negate that. What does my opponent have in their hand? Blink of an Eye is not bad. It does mean I can cycle if my opponent goes to kill this other Saproling. Probably a random card is better than it being in my hand. Okay, that's not a huge deal as I have the Artful Takedown for it. Or the Deadly Visit. I'll go ahead and do the takedown just to be a little bit more mana efficient, though. Although with 10 mana, I can cast a 5-drop and a 5-drop, so might be better to save it. Yeah, let's go ahead and just take down. That old instant speed interaction. All right, opt is great. Let's opt. Sure, I'll draw an opt. I don't really need 2 ops, but we'll opt again. 3 ops. Was this fun? All right, definitely don't need Deadly Visit. Divination's good. 1, 2, 3. All right, I think we came out a little ahead in that exchange. What a game, what a game. I only have 18 cards left, so I'm going to start drawing more stuff soon. I still have lands left, though. Like, I still have 2 guild gates unaccounted for. All right, Keldon Overseer, Kicker, and Haste. That is going to warrant an Essence Scatter. Because my opponent has tapped out, and it has Haste, and it would take away my Sapperling token, all of which I do not want. All right, and there's Waltz, so let's attack. And I think at this point, I'm going to waltz away one of these Blink of an Eyes. And since I do have another Salvager in my deck, I think I'm not actually going to get back the Waltz here. I am going to go ahead and get back Moment of Craving. And that way I have a little bit of extra insurance against a flurry of burn spells, because now I have the Negate and the Moment of Craving both set up, and now my clock is also much, much faster. Like, even if my opponent never plays another creature that I can get with this Moment of Craving, I can just Moment of Craving my own Sapperling token, for example, and still regain the 2 life. I think the life points are going to matter, even though my opponent hasn't really done anything. Like I said, I am a little bit surprised that they haven't fired off this direct current or drawn more direct currents. They've drawn like half their deck, and that's the only one they have. Like, that just seems very unrealistic to me. All right, Lavamancer is fine. I can Moment of Craving. That's something I can Moment of Craving. All right, well, that's not going to happen. Maybe my opponent just has drawn like 4 of these, and that's why they haven't done anything. Opponent deep in the tank here. They might be roping me. In Hearthstone, that's where they just run out the timer. Magic. Oh, it's to me. My bad. How'd I miss that? Sorry, opponent. It still says it's waiting. See, that was confusing to me. It said it was waiting for them. Right? Was that for me? I don't know. Whatever. The point is, I was a little rude. My opponent still might be doing that, though. Oh, there's the direct current. Okay. Do I want to go ahead and negate this direct current and save myself the life? I think so. I think that negating here is fine. My opponent hasn't shown any other burn spells. If they have another act of treason, I can always blink of an eye. Let's actually do like both. I'm getting a no. I have the Essence Scatters. Let's get this other Watcher. And I don't think the game's going to last very much longer anyway. So yeah, I have the blink of an eye. If my opponent has another act of treason, no big deal. I have a deadly visit. Yep, there it is. So let's. We'll draw the other watcher. And then if my opponent has a creature, I have Essence Scatter. Well, that I'm just not worried about. Cosmotronic Wave is very good. It's good against other aggro decks, and it's very good against the Rat Colony deck. All right, yeah, Devious Cover. Oh, I meant to bend that island, but whatever. And then because my opponent's almost dead, I would rather not. I would rather just keep up my other Essence Scatter. Now I have Devious Cover up and can't possibly lose. Yeah, so really clawed our way back this game. It was a little touch and go there for a while, especially at the beginning when I had to discard some stuff. But Divination, Opt, Moment of Craving, they all helped. All right, let's attack, and that'll be game. Cool. Well, we'll get into the next one in just a second here. All right, this time I tried to be a little bit smarter, and I paused the recording and went ahead and saved what I already had. Really didn't want to lose more match. So let's go ahead and get into round 4. Again, we're 3-0. Much like the last hand, if we draw a Swamp, we're really good. Since we're on the play, I'm going to risk it. Divination is just so powerful. Evolving Wilds. Not too many Evolving Wilds decks. Another Divination. Come on, mana on turn 3. I didn't even take a Guild Gate, honestly. Swamp. Okay. I'm not a big fan of Evolving Wilds. Oh, interesting. Okay. Uh-oh. Some sort of 5-color deck? Yeah. If it's like a control mirror, our start is not good at all. And we have a lot of dead cards in our hand. Okay, never mind. We're fine. Unless it's hexproof, in which case we're not fine. Well, a little late there, but it's okay. I'm tempted to Vapors, honestly, just because if it is the hexproof deck, I have no other way of dealing with this token. So yeah, I think it's correct to go ahead and Vapors here, as weird as that might seem. Keep a land and a Moment of Craving on top, sure. If my opponent is not a hexproof deck, then this is fine. So yeah, they're like a 3-color deck. It could just be for value, but I would rather, yeah, and it looks like it was. So the Vapors was a little premature, but honestly would just rather not risk it. All right, so now what I can do is I can play my island, and I can hold up, Devious Cover Up, and Fungal, and Moment of Craving or Fungal Infection. So if my opponent has, oh man, they are like 5 colors. So they have red too. Well, 4 colors so far. Yeah, that is okay. All right, so it is kind of a hexproof deck. So that is not going to be okay. And the reason I'm being so aggressive here, and I'm even okay shuffling that away because I have plenty of other removal in my hand, is I'm just straight up cold to a hexproof creature like this. Let's look for a swamp. Island, no. Deadly Visit, fine. Do I want a dead weight? I think I'd rather hold out for a Moment of Craving. Yeah, I'm just so cold to a hexproof creature like this. Yeah, it's gonna have to be good here. So now wishing I'd maybe, gotten rid of the Jungleborn Pioneer. I'd counted the Jungleborn Pioneer. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be bad. Yep, unfortunate. This might be my weakest matchup, and yeah, it is what it is. What can I do about it, really? Could go ahead and should have done this first. Yeah, should have done it first. Oh well. Because now I'm like already dead. So yeah, countering the Jungleborn Pioneer would have been much better for me. Because if my opponent has any other way to pump this here, yeah. All right, well, we're just dead. Ah, well. Hexproof's very strong with no edicts. Let's hope we don't run into something like that again. But as you've seen from the other matches, like the deck is pretty sweet. This is fine. Even if it's a hexproof match, we got a blink of an eye for the. All right, black-white is not a usual color combination. I'm going to lead swamp so I can fungal infection something. I'm expecting this to be like vampires. Well, that's even more unusual. I was right about the vampires, though. The good news is that means it's not a hexproof deck. Well, this is actually fungal infection is very good here. All right, thanks, Essence Scatter. It's because I can fungal infection this and then just block the token. So yeah, I've yet to see a 3-color aggro deck. That's pretty interesting. All right, Pyromantic Pilgrim. I can let's see. Essence Scatter that. I can infection this. And then I can block the token, and my opponent has nothing. Sweet. All right, getting a little clogged on these deadly visits. Thankfully, I only run 2. Yeah, my mistake last game was not getting rid of that Jungleborn Pioneer. All right, well, now if I draw a land, I'm set. And if, specifically a swamp, I guess. Otherwise, I couldn't have cast this. Otherwise, I was okay blink of an eyeing that back to my opponent's hand. So now what am I looking for here? More removal. Lands, Watchers. This is all good. Let's draw the Salvager first. It's just so I can dig a little bit deeper with the other card. Salvager is also fine against these guys. What do I want to get back? I can't get back dead weight. I guess I'm getting back fungal infection. And then I can take, well, do I want fungal infection? Yeah, I guess it's just like my best card here. And then I don't have to, I can block one of the 1-drops, I guess. And then next turn, I can get rid of this. So game's lining up pretty well here for me. Is the white really only for bishop soldiers? Is that what it's called? Yeah, bishop soldier. All right, so opponent only has 2 cards. Yeah, next turn is gonna be pretty good for me because I can dead weight, leave up fungal infection, leave up blink. Well, if my opponent doesn't have anything, I don't think I even want a dead weight. I think I want to go ahead and jam my Watcher, looking for a couple lands or more removal. Yeah, that's good. Salvager for something else later in the game. Maybe even the same. Yeah, we'll just pass back. Salvager is just so strong. If you've ever played regular Pauper and you played like a Chaomancer or Mnemonic Wall, you know why Salvager is good. You don't have to have an infinite loop to make it good. Well, if my opponent's making this attack, I expect they have a trick, but I'm more than happy to make them spend it. As remember, I have Macabre Waltz somewhere in my deck. Oh, my opponent literally didn't have anything. That's nuts. Well, there's no reason for me to do anything here. I should have blocked this instead of the token because now my blink of an eye is like marginally worse. Did they just have Shivan Fire here? I do not. I mean, I don't even really need to kill this Instigator. I'm just winning this race. But does it change my clock to have this extra token? It does not. My opponent doesn't attack either? Bizarre. Well, still no reason to do anything. There's not even really a reason to play this extra Salvager. I can just save it for if I draw like a Divination later. I'm not really sure what my opponent is playing here. None of the red cards I can think of are worth not even attacking me is very strange. I can't think of a red card here that really is good. Like, okay, well, in this case, I will go ahead and get rid of that. Now I guess I'll just go ahead and play this and get back the same card. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But it does speed up my clock. And it's annoying for my opponent. And I'll have used this Fungal Infection 3 times, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I think my opponent's in serious trouble here. My hand is just full of removal. I'm at a very high life total. They only have 3 cards in their hand. Oh, and that's it. They go ahead and pack it in. All right, so we are at a crossroads here. I have 4 wins now. And I'm hoping that I do not get a loss, as that would be upsetting. Spaghetti Wizard. All right, well, this is fine. Opt. It's hard to pass up Island Opt. Essence Scatter is good as well. So I guess let's dig around for a swamp. We have 9 swamps and 4 Dimir Guild Gates. So I guess let's also just hope that this is... All right. Okay, there's the swamp. It could be a mirror, in which case the dead weights are not good. I'm always worried about the mirror. I just think it's fun, but it's just like the 2 best. It's just you're both the best deck in the format. I think I am going to opt into turn here. I want some action. I don't want to draw another land anymore. Well, I need like 1 more land, but I don't need it now. I need it later. Swamp. Okay, interesting. If it is the mirror, they don't have any blue, so that's good. Or it's this deck. Could be the green-black deck. Could just be a mono-red deck. Really not sure. Yeah, I definitely don't want to draw that island. So I'll just draw another dead weight. Okay, this is actually pretty good. It lets me kill this, and then I can dead weight the zombie token. Or I can Essence Scatter something. I might even just take a... If my opponent attacks me pre-combat, I might just take a hit here, and then Fungal Infection into turn, and then I can dead weight the zombie token since I just have so many. And if my opponent is truly mono black, I'm just going to draw way more cards than them over the course of the game. There is like 1 mono black card that lets you draw a ton. Dark Bargain, I think is what it's called. So they could have some dark bargains. I almost don't even really want to cast this. It's just sort of in the name of like mana efficiency because I only have one black source. All right. So here's the thing. I don't really want to essence scatter this either because it's so easily it's very I don't want to I want to answer with a dead weight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that resolve. I'm not going to kill this. I'm going to draw my card and then I'm just going to dead weight the Veiled Shade. And I think that I will be a little bit happier with this exchange. I can afford to take several more hits off the Doom Dissenter, and it gets outclassed very quickly in the late game. Since my opponent is playing Doom Dissenter, I expect that they'll be running some of the sacrifice type cards, like Costly Plunder or that one that gives --. All right, that's unusual. Watcher's good. Now I have Cover Up. I can Cover Up and get back these two cards. Cover Up gets better the later the longer the game goes. Okay, so this is actually good for me because now I can also fungal infection this. And then I have the dead weight, and then if my opponent does something really crazy, I have the devious Cover Up. So I think I am just going to take 3 here. Being pretty liberal with my life total this game. It's just like, again, this is just so easily answered by a dead weight. So I think I am going to let that one resolve too. So yeah, let's boop. Oh, I should have essence scattered. I like had blindness on that side of me. Oh, well, I'm not blocking, right? Yeah, I'll attack. Yeah, I think I'll just essence scatter the next creature that my opponent plays. I quit being cute because I don't want them to have 2 more of these. Oh my goodness, brutal. All right, well that actually makes me feel a lot better. I'm actually going to do it now so that they can't like sacrifice it in response. And now I'm actually out of range of the final Sovereign's Bite. So feeling pretty good now. that was a little tough. I would have hated to have just lost a quadruple Sovereign's Bite. Still very short mana though. And my opponent is at a very high life total. So I really need another land. I mean, I just like don't need to essence scatter that, right? Like I can just dead weight it. If I draw a land, though, I'll be sad. Well, there you go. Still leaving up the devious Cover Up, though, which is pretty sweet. So now that they have a Costly Plunder? Yeah, they do. I could go ahead and devious Cover Up that. Put back a bunch of removal into my deck, and I think that's worth it. I really don't want my opponent drawing more cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure. I'm in charge of cards here. So next turn I can salvage or get back the Cover Up or something. Just really insulate myself here. Oh, that's pretty saucy. So I guess I am trading here. That 2 life suddenly very relevant from the last moment of craving. Yeah, I'll trade here if my opponent offers. Divination is good, but I think I want to go ahead and cast Watcher. I don't think they have any more burn outside of these 4 Sovereign's Bites. All right, that's good. So let's... Well, I don't really need the other fungal infection. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's right. They haven't played the last one yet. So yeah, my life points are actually very relevant. So let's start by drawing some cards. 1, 2, 3. Boop, boop. And then let's go ahead and gain back some life. Play out our land. And then swing. Next turn, we can, if we draw a land, we can Divination. Evolving Wilds? Is my opponent somehow actually more than one color? No, they're just playing that to like thin out their deck. I think we can opt for a land here. Yeah, let's draw that. The reason I want to draw a land is because, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually, no, I kind of goozled myself. I would like the Divination and leave up the counterspell in the same turn if possible. 2, 3, boop, boop. All right, got another Watcher. So 1, let's see, I have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I only have 7. So I can't Watcher and leave up the counterspell, which is what I really want to do. So I'm actually not going to play Watcher. I think the counterspell is very important. And I have 2 Divinations to get back with it, which is pretty sweet. Getting back like Divination, Salvager, that's like really good. That's what I'm in the market for. Well, I definitely don't need to counter that. This creature is very non-threatening. Did wait. Doing a lot of work. Now I can play both if I hadn't done that, but I think it was worth it. Yeah, I'm also protecting my threat here, so that's pretty good. And now I can play a Watcher. And leave up Devious Cover Up. And I do want to draw a Divination. Divination, just so powerful. Good game, my opponent says. Are they going to try and kill me here? That will go poorly for them, thankfully. Nope, they concede. All right, so we do get there at 5-1. Again, sorry for the missing game in the middle there. But I do hope you enjoyed... Oh, didn't even show what I got. I do hope you enjoyed the videos. I think this format is super duper duper fun. And I'll catch y'all next time.